Welcome back, men. Glad to have you back. Today's topic will be on manhood and how it contributes to strong societies. Let's get into this. So what I want to accomplish today is build the argument for why it is necessary for men to be strong contributors to strong families and strong societies. So we'll look at breaking that down, but I think it's very important to create the argument so that we understand the times that we live in. When we talk about men and contributing to society and family, if we break that down, what is that getting at? Well, I think a good starting place is looking at just the environment that we live in, especially within America. We see there's a lot of instability across all of society. There's instability in families, in many different aspects of that. But why is that the case? Men that are not being strong men. Okay, now this is not to point the finger. This is simply to look at it and look at it for the reality of what it is. And because we don't have that within our society, unfortunately, we see all the things that happen. We see young boys who are being exposed to things at very young ages they shouldn't be exposed to. We see young boys who are growing up and not having anyone to lead them into manhood. We see all the other things we see within society. We see drugs, we see violence, we see gangs, we see the breakdown of so many different aspects of society. And why is that? Because there's not strong men. We need strong men. That is the argument. I want to paint two pictures for you, and I think this will hopefully crystallize it, because we need men that have strong character. That is the essential thing, and we'll break that down and we'll look at how you can do that, because that's not an overnight thing. To build that takes intentionality to do that, and that can take time. But I want to give you two examples. One, and many of you may have heard about this, but there's if you look at elephants, and if you look at elephants in a herd, anytime that there is not the dominant male elephant or the bull that is not there, you see the younger elephants running wild. And I remember seeing this on TV where they actually depicted how these young elephants were acting. And they were going into cities, they were going into towns, they were causing destruction, to the point where the cities were in an uproar and thinking, what do we do with these elephants? They're running around and they're causing a ruckus all over the place. They're breaking things, they're stealing, they're just acting out of their normal way that they typically act. And so the thought was, we need to bring in a strong male elephant into the herd. And what occurred was that when they did that, it brought stability. The young male elephants knew how to act, they knew what to do, because they had the strong male in that society of the elephants. And it's the same principle that applies to our society. We need strong men to come in. The second example I'll give you is a great man that I actually didn't have the pleasure of meeting, but I heard so much about him. And if anyone knows anyone from the World War II generation, I mean, an incredible generation, we certainly thank those who have sacrificed in immense ways so that this country can be what it is. But it brought a measure of stability, because there were men who were willing to step up and do what was required at that moment in time. And because they did that, it brought stability. The gentleman I'm speaking of, he was a great man. He fought in many of the wars in America. But the way the story was told was that he would answer the call. He would go out and he would fight in the war. But then when he would come back, he would teach his children. Incredible. But then the next time the call came, he would answer the call. He would go fight. But what did he do when he came back? He would teach his children. And the same thing, I think there were a few that he actually fought in. And so he would go, he would answer the call of duty, but then he would also answer the call of duty back home. He would teach his children in the way. And I had the pleasure of meeting some of his children and just seeing their strength of character. But that was a great example of men who have stood up because of the strength of character, and they did what was necessary to provide for a strong society, but also is being built upon strong families. So again, this is to create the argument of the importance of men being strong and what that looks like. So hopefully you got something out of this. Please throw some things in the comments. Again, hopefully you guys know anytime we're talking about these topics, it is not to say that women don't exemplify some of these qualities that I'm referring to. By all means, there were strong women. I mean, we look at World War II generation, just the sacrifice that women made was incredible. I mean, just to think about it. But we on this channel, we want to focus in on the aspect of men. So please always keep that in mind. When we're talking about these things, we are looking specifically at men on that. So thanks so much, and we'll talk to you soon.